What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another weekly live chat. I stream every single Wednesday night around 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, so we can discuss UFC 292. It is the week of UFC 292, Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley. We can discuss any of the predictions for that. My full card predictions are already out. My main event predictions are already out. I meant to do it today. I just been busy, and I literally just got time, so I made my thumbnail, scheduled my stream. I have to do my grading UFC 292 video, which I'm literally annoyed that I haven't done it sooner, but the main card hasn't really been set up until recently. It's finally got set, so that will be out hopefully tonight. I'll probably release it just late tonight after the stream. We can discuss UFC 292 predictions. We can discuss UFC 293, which is Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland. And we can also discuss a debate I was having on Twitter earlier. Is Sean O'Malley a star in MMA? Because I believe he is not, and we can talk about that today in the stream. But as always, whatever you guys want to discuss, throw it in the chat. There's probably plenty of stuff that I missed. We can also discuss, apparently, Neal Magny is out at press conferences bragging about beating his kids, which I think is quite the embarrassment. So we can also discuss that as well if you guys wish to discuss it. But whatever you guys want to discuss, there's probably news that I've missed so far today. I don't pay attention to every bit of news. So there's probably stuff I missed, but any predictions you guys want to talk about, anything, just throw it in the chat. Hey, Joey, just wanted to ask your thoughts on Jack Della Maddalena versus Kevin Holland, apparently made for September 16th. Who do you favor in this fight? I'm not 100% confident this is happening, but it seems like it is happening. Honestly, Jack Della Maddalena, without the threat of the grappling, because he was worried about getting taken down in his last fight, I think is very significant when kind of breaking down this fight against Holland. But my initial reaction is, why is Kevin Holland getting another big fight? Jack Della Maddalena should be fighting Wonderboy. Jack Della Maddalena should be fighting Shavkat. Jack Della Maddalena should be fighting Usman. I know that's a big stretch, the Usman jump. I think Jack Della Maddalena should be fighting upwards towards the division. You know, rebook him versus Brady. Kevin Holland, I mean, I guess Kevin Holland just made the rankings, right? I guess he did because he just got a win. But I guess Kevin Holland's ahead of him. Kevin Holland's sitting at number 12, so I guess it does make sense. I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't mind the fight. I don't hate the fight. Don't love the fight. I hate the welterweight division in general. I hate the fact that it's on short notice for both guys. I'm so sick and tired of hearing Kevin Holland stepping in on short notice. He's lost every short notice fight he's ever took in the UFC. With that being said, I think Jack Della Maddalena is one of the most overrated fighters, but I do kind of give him a little bit of a pass because of the weight cut. But I wanted to see him versus a grappler. That was the big question mark about Jack Della Maddalena. I wanted to see him against a grappler. And Kevin Holland is not a grappler. And, I mean, I guess we saw him against the grappler last fight. I thought Jack Della Maddalena lost that fight. So I guess it isn't the worst matchmaking. But after watching that last fight, I favor Kevin Holland. I'm just really down on Jack Della Maddalena right now. I have to go Kevin Holland. Long, rangy striker with good power. I think it's a fun matchup. Again, I don't hate it. I just I want to see some guys towards the top of the division defend their spots, and they're just not willing to. And I really was looking forward to that Sean Brady fight. So I wonder, actually, you know, I might like this matchup even more. Is the UFC thinking about booking Wonderboy versus Sean Brady now? Oh, that'd be so satisfying. Wonderboy versus Sean Brady. Wonderboy getting a grappler. But early prediction, Kevin Holland, TKO, long, rangy. I don't think Jack's going to try to grapple him. And I think it's a good matchup for Kevin Holland. And I think he gets it done against Jack Della Maddalena. But I think it could go either way. I may change my mind when we get to the fight. But they needed to add some fights to that September 16th card. It's fallen off a cliff. You had Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Kelvin Gastelum. I forgot his name for a second. That fight got canceled. You had Chris Curtis versus Fluffy Hernandez get canceled. So September 16th needed some fights. So that's why I lean into believing that we will get Jack Della Maddalena versus Kevin Holland. But also it's kind of disappointing. Why not have him at UFC 293 a week earlier? It makes kind of no sense. So, but I guess maybe they just want to add some good fights to that free fight night card. So, Okay, where are we at now? YouTube jumped all the way to the bottom of the chat. Hey, Joe, I just want to say my notifications on, always on, and it still doesn't work properly. This is disgusting. My best guess would be to turn it off, turn it back on. YouTube always has issues. Joey, streaming on my birthday is always a treat. Happy birthday, Calico. Happy birthday, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Excited for the stream tonight. Let's go. I'm glad you're excited. The fact that anyone even enjoys watching blows my mind still. Joey, you howl a dog. I don't know what that means, but okay. I never want to miss a stream. This community is the only one I had to talk MMA. The subreddit is full of trash bin Conor fans. Fair enough. Happy to have you. Joey, it's 9:04, 4 minutes above the match weight. Your title has been stripped. Okay. All right. I guess that's your time. You're an hour behind me. What's up, Benji? Joey, I don't know if you heard breaking news. Chandler apparently wants to fight Conor per sources. Yeah, they're just waiting to announce the date. It's breaking news. What's up, Niles? No, he's not a star. He never will be if he can't beat Aljo. Yeah, well, we're going to have to get into the Sean O'Malley stardom talk because people keep acting like Sean O'Malley's a star. He's not a star. He's a mildly above average popular UFC fighter. That's it. Joey, Ian Garry seems to be going the Patty route. He's acting a lot more full of himself than humble. I haven't really been paying too much attention. I did see he called out Neal Magny for bragging about beating his kids, which I think is kind of funny. Not Magny beating his kids, but for Ian Garry to call him out on it because it's weird that nobody even questioned that. Like, dude, you're really at a press conference saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna beat him like I beat my son, my young son." Yeah, that really looks good. Is JDM versus Holland confirmed? It is not confirmed. Does Charlo have enough power? I don't even know who those are. I don't watch boxing. Khabibulov versus Hernandez. Who wins? I got Khabibulov. I'm not high on Khabibulov, but I'm impressed by him. I think he has good skills. As long as he can avoid the takedown, which is a big if, I think he wins on the feet. I think he's got really good striking. I think he's got really good power. I think he gets it done. And he's kind of just coming off a big win and kind of ready, uninjured, ready to jump back in there. I like it. What's up, everybody? I watched O'Malley's journey up to Aljo on YouTube today. Sean had one of the strangest careers so far, in my opinion. 100%. 100%. Has no good wins on his entire resume either. If O'Malley wins, who's next? Sandhagen, Merab, or Cheeto? 100% O'Malley is preemptively ducking Merab. He is preemptively ducking Merab. So I believe O'Malley will force the Cheeto rematch if Cheeto beats Munoz. I don't think O'Malley wants anything to do with Merab, and the UFC won't want him to lose his belt because they're still trying to build him into a star. Zhang Weili stated in the press conference that she wants to be like water against Lemos. She wants to flow through the whole fight. She made it sound epic. Fair enough. Sounds epic. Rosas versus Terrence Mitchell on 16th. Easy win for Rosas, in my opinion. Easy win. Easy TKO. Easy submission. Probably first round finish. Hello, Joey. What's up? Adults ain't into O'Sally feminine attributes. Okay. Whatever that means, but all right. But yeah, in terms of O'Malley being a star, it's crazy to me that people keep acting like he's a star. And let me break it down this way. A lot of people, whether it be the MMA community or whether it be the MMA media, instead of using their own critical thinking skills, what they do is regurgitate the UFC narrative. That's a common theme, is just to regurgitate what the UFC says. And what the UFC does a lot of the time is they believe perception is reality. So they believe they can fake the stardom of certain fighters and basically just kind of fake it and promote it and really push a certain fighter. And then eventually it will become true because essentially everyone's regurgitating it. They spread it out. They're talking about it to other people. And it basically grows into eventually being true. And the UFC has kind of already pretended as if Sean O'Malley's this massive star. He's not. There's no evidence to support that Sean O'Malley's a star. There is zero evidence to support. There is evidence to support maybe he could become a future star. There's evidence to support that. I think that's a possibility. But right now, there's no true evidence anywhere to support the claim that Sean O'Malley is a superstar or a star in MMA in terms of pay-per-view drawing power. There's none. There's zero. There's none. The MMA media, as well as the UFC, I tweeted this out earlier, guys. This is like a perfect representation of how to describe it. And if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, go follow me on Twitter at MMAJoeyC. But I tweeted this out earlier, and this is 100% correct, okay? The UFC and MMA media have a vested interest in misrepresenting the star power of fighters. There is a direct link between the popularity of the fighters and their revenue and their job security, okay? Because what the MMA media likes to do, and what Dana White also likes to do, is elevate certain guys because they want these guys to be stars. They desperately want them to be stars. So if you convince enough people that they're popular, eventually they're going to become popular. And eventually that is the narrative, that they are popular. And then eventually that takes hold and spreads out and spreads out. And then, okay, eventually that is just a promotional tool in an attempt to make them actually become a star. And I think also over the course of the last few years, really the last 5 years, 6 years, the definition of a draw, the definition of star has vastly lowered. The bar has just been set so low nowadays. But if you look at the UFC, the best argument I can tell you to really describe what's going on in terms of lying about star power is Dana White and Power Slap. Dana White acts as if Power Slap's such a big deal. Dana White acts as if Power Slap is so massive and number one in sports and number one in India, number one all over the world, and that's doing these analytics and the biggest deal ever and blah, 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 and this and that, and so many millions and millions of views. And he actively misrepresents the data to support that it is this massive entity to try to attempt to suck people in. Because a lot of people, and especially in the MMA community, and I don't mean to insult any of you guys, you know, I'm part of this MMA community as well, a lot of them are brainless. A lot of them are brain dead. A lot of them just go with whatever the UFC's narrative is, whatever Dana White spoon feeds them. And a lot of people will say, oh, wait, well, everyone else cares about this? This is important, this is popular, I should care about it. And it's basically just a way to kind of brainwash people into flowing in that direction, to buy into that narrative. And Dana White does it with Power Slap. He's trying to convince you, oh shit, I'm one of the few that doesn't care about it. I'm one of the few that doesn't like it. Everyone else loves it. It's so popular. I want to be part of that popular, you know, whatever, that popular crowd. I want to be part of that, you know, event. I want to watch that because everyone else is watching it. And it's just ridiculous. And it's just ridiculous. It's not true. And they do this a lot of the time with fighters too. Dana White over-promotes certain fighters and pretends they're a massive star and pretend they're a massive draw because he wants them to eventually become that. He sees that potential within them, and this is a way of promoting it and to drive that interest. You know what I mean? Because if I get on here and I tell you, hey, this guy's a huge star, people care about him, a lot of people, because they don't really think and they lack critical thinking skills and they're like, they just kind of go with the flow. They're like, oh, okay, everyone cares about this guy, I got to care about this guy too. And then in terms of the MMA media, half or more, probably 75% of the MMA media just takes Dana White's word for it. They take Dana White's word and they just regurgitate it. The MMA media, 75% of it, it's not all of it, there is some people doing good stuff, 75% of it are just promotional arms of the UFC. You guys have to understand this. They take whatever propaganda the UFC puts out, they take whatever statements Dana White puts out, they just regurgitate it. They make an article about it, and they act as if it's true. They act as if it's true. They act as if they did any real journalism. They did not. All they're doing is taking UFC president, who obviously has a super biased and monetarily driven opinion on it, and also has motives, and they just repackage it and pretend like they did some type of journalism. There's no journalism there. And another reason they do it, not only because they're brain dead and they just want to regurgitate what Daddy Dana says out of fear or for whatever reason, it also, you guys have to realize, the MMA media and fighters in the UFC star power, okay, and the MMA media's revenue, okay, if you have one hand, MMA media's revenue, what they generate, their earnings, and UFC fighters star power, they go hand in hand. There is a direct link. There is a direct link between UFC fighters star power and the amount of money MMA media is generating and the amount of money MMA media is putting into their pockets to feed their families. You have to understand that. So they have a vested interest in building up fighters. The MMA media helps the UFC build up certain fighters. I'm not saying that that's wrong, but they have a motive to lie to you and pretend like certain fighters are these massive draws, or they also have an interest in just promoting promotably popular guys because it directly puts money in their bank account. The more popular fighters there are, the more stars there are in the sport, the more money there is in the sport overall, the more coverage sites want for the sport, the more traffic is driven to their websites. So you have to understand the MMA media is desperate for star power. The MMA media is an absolute disaster. It's an absolute embarrassment because there's not a lot of real money in it. These guys aren't making a lot of money. There's some people who are. That's not, it's not like it's non-existent, but the vast majority are not making a living off of it. It's just not happening. Most of them are making the bare minimum, basically ends meet to feed their families, okay? The more popular certain fighters become, the more their job is in demand, the more they have job security. That's why they cling so desperately on to Conor McGregor and his tweets. That's why they cling so desperately on Conor McGregor and him fighting in the UFC. Because Conor McGregor's popularity and any fighter's popularity is a direct line to the amount of revenue they make. It's the way it's always been because there's not real money. There's not a lot of real money in MMA media. And the bigger the sport gets, which I want the sport to keep growing, the bigger you have, the more stars you have, the more demand MMA media coverage is. The more demand there is for people who know about the sport to cover the sport for certain outlets. Have you ever noticed when there's a big event coming up, let's say it's a Conor McGregor fight, okay? He hasn't fought in a long while, I know. Have you ever noticed you'll see some MMA media personalities, all of a sudden they're on ESPN. All of a sudden they're on these different shows, Sirius XM, whatever it may be. There's these MMA media personalities who you've seen for years. They're never really anywhere, but all of a sudden during fight week, they're on these different programs and they're invited on these different shows for their knowledge. It's because it's a star-driven sport. So they already have a vested interest in stars. They want to help create stars, and so therefore they will do the same thing that the UFC does and push certain guys' names in an attempt to build them into a star. They want to build the MMA media wants Sean O'Malley to be a star. There's no doubt about that. 100% they want Sean O'Malley to be a star because it directly impacts their pockets. It directly impacts their paycheck. The UFC wants Sean O'Malley to be a star because guess what? It directly impacts their bottom line. Now, he has the potential to become one. Every fighter has the potential to become one. And I think he has a higher potential than everyone else. But they are willing to look you in the face and lie to you because they want to convince you that he's a star because they believe that perception is reality. But in reality, there is no evidence. You guys have to think about this, okay? If someone makes the statement, Sean O'Malley's a star, okay? And what my perception of that statement is, Sean O'Malley sells pay-per-views, because my definition of a star in MMA means they sell pay-per-views. Well, what evidence do we have to suggest that Sean O'Malley sells pay-per-views? Let's take a look at Sean O'Malley's resume. Let's take a look. What pay-per-views has he fought on? So he's fought on a pay-per-view on every event since he's been in the UFC. Okay, that could be an indication. Okay, he has something there. UFC 280, he fought Petr Yan. Okay, that had 2 title fights over top of him, one being Charles Oliveira. That event we never got exact numbers for, but we know based on some statements Aljamain Sterling made, it didn't do crazy well. Okay, it didn't do crazy well. So okay, so he's on a stacked card, still didn't do all that well. UFC 276, stacked card. He's on the main card against Pedro Munoz. He's what? What fight was he? Was he the featured fight? He wasn't even the featured fight. He opened up the main card of that pay-per-view. So don't get me wrong, that pay-per-view might have done well, but the fact that he's opening up the pay-per-view, the fact that he's not main or co-main, that is an indication of his drawing power. The fact that he has never headlined a pay-per-view event until now shows you that he's not a draw, okay? That shows you that he's not a draw, because let me explain this to you. If Sean O'Malley was a star, it doesn't matter where he was at in his UFC career. they would headline an event with him. Do you believe with Dana White in the you know, the whole wolf tickets of the social media CEO battle, right? Let me ask you guys this. Do you believe if Dana White was able to put, you know, what's his name, Musk versus Zuckerberg, if he was able to put that together, would they not be the main event? They'd be the main event. You know why? Because they are the draws. They are the stars of that card, right? Because they're going to draw in the pay-per-view buys. The UFC actively puts whatever fighters draw the most pay-per-views at the top of the card, okay? That is a fact. That is irrefutable. That is undeniable. He's not headlining any pay-per-views. Now, the pay-per-views that he's been on, he's had okay semi-prominent spots, but there's no evidence to support, oh, these pay-per-views blew up. There's no evidence to support any of these pay-per-views even did over 1 million pay-per-view buys when he had bigger stars above them. He had bigger stars above him. There's no evidence to support that. And one claim that is made over and over and over again, and I hear this just regurgitated through the MMA community ad nauseum, is, oh, he's a star on Instagram. He's a star on YouTube. And let's pull up O'Malley's YouTube, okay? Let's pull up O'Malley's YouTube. O'Malley has, let's see, okay. He has 640,000 subscribers. Okay, that's really good. That's great. That's actually really, really good. He's creeping up on 1 million subscribers on YouTube, which is an indication of interest into a certain fighter. But let's take a look at his views, okay? Subscribers mean nothing. There's channels with millions of subs that are dead channels. There's channels with, 100,000 subs doing much better than channels with millions of subs. Subs mean absolutely nothing. It all comes down to views. Let's look at his views. Fight week, you would think would be the most optimal time for views for Sean O'Malley. 72,000 views, 58,000 views, 59,000 views, 38,000 views, 103,000 views, 52,000 views, 52,000 views, 176,000 views, 45,000 views. Now, while those views are good, that's not an indication of any star power at all. First off, his YouTube views aren't even that good for the amount of subscribers he has. Okay, that's not good views for the amount of subscribers he has. There are channels with far less subs that are getting more views. And just for an example, and I'm getting to a point here, guys. Just for an example, a YouTube channel that I recently discovered of an old WWE superstar named Maven, right? I used to watch WWE back in like 2002, 2003. I randomly had this WWE star on my recommended. He just started a channel. And he has 56,000 subscribers, okay? He has 9 videos. He posted his first video 3 weeks ago, okay? 56,000 subscribers, 200,000 views, 900,000 views, 306,000 views, 1 million views. That's his views, okay? Now, with that being said, again, that's not an indication of pay-per-view drawing power. It doesn't matter if every single one of Sean O'Malley's videos has 1 million views, okay? But even if that was an indication, his views on his YouTube channel are not that good for the amount of subscribers he has during fight week, during an optimal time. And the point is, even if you take and you look at his channel, and let's say he's got 1 million views across every video for the last week, okay? That is a gauge. That is a metric that you can look at in a grand scheme of things. You can look at all these different analytical points. Instagram following, YouTube views, YouTube subscribers, previous pay-per-view placement, views on videos from MMA media websites. You can look at all these different metrics, and then you can formulate an opinion, okay? You can formulate an opinion whether or not he's a draw or not. But the point is, even if he was this massive star on YouTube and he had millions and millions of views on every video, interest in free content does not indicate a viewer's willing to purchase pay-per-views. Interest in free content does not indicate people's willingness to purchase an $80 pay-per-view. It just doesn't exist. It doesn't matter. Why do you think Jake Paul's pay-per-views haven't done that great? Why do you think he's fighting? Why do you think Jake Paul is fighting ex-UFC fighters? Why do you think that is? Because you look at Jake Paul's YouTube channel. Let me take a look. You take a look at Jake Paul's YouTube channel. Oh, guess what? He's got 20 million subscribers. 20 million subscribers. Let's take a look at his views. Million views, 700,000 views, 600,000 views, 600,000 views, 300,000 views, 600,000 views. His views are astronomical in comparison to someone like Sean O'Malley. I haven't looked at it directly, but I'm assuming his Twitter, his Instagram is astronomical in comparison as well. Okay? It does not indicate pay-per-view drawing power at all. It is one metric that you can look at in the grand scheme of things and make an argument to support it, but interest in free content does not indicate willingness to purchase an $80 pay-per-view. Now, with all that being said, I do believe that Sean O'Malley could eventually become a star. I do believe if he goes out there and knocks out Aljamain Sterling in the first round, it could be a star-making performance. But right now, based on the information we have, there's really no evidence to support that Sean O'Malley's a star. There's none. There's none. There's different evidence that you can look at, analytical, anecdotal evidence, and say, okay, maybe he has the makings. You know, he's got a good YouTube presence. He's got a good social media presence. He could translate that into, if he continues to win and he has these highlight reel KOs, he can translate that. But it's just, the evidence is not there yet. It does not exist yet. It's just not there. And people making this claim, most people are just regurgitating the UFC's talking points on it. And they really, if you ask them, prove it to me. What's to show me? Where is the evidence to show me that people are willing to shell out the $80 for his pay-per-views? Where's the evidence to show me that? Show me that somewhere. There is none. It doesn't exist yet because we're missing part of the picture. We're missing part of the picture. We have not seen him headline a pay-per-view. Now, after he fights Aljamain Sterling, let's say that pay-per-view sells 800,000 pay-per-view buys. Let's say Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley sells 800,000 pay-per-view buys. 100% you can point to that and say, this shows that O'Malley's a star. This proves it. This is unequivocal, undeniable, irrefutable evidence that Sean O'Malley's a star. And guess what? That would be factually accurate. But to point to social media analytics, people do it all the time. Oh, they generate clicks on YouTube. It's meaningless. It's virtually meaningless. Okay, there's a small bit of information you can get from that and look at it and say, okay, this means a little bit. It's not the whole basis for the argument. And it's just, I'm just so tired of hearing it. I got so much shit on Twitter. And actually, I said it in one of my videos and people commented on it. This guy doesn't believe that Sean O'Malley's a star. Oh, this guy doesn't believe Sean O'Malley's a star. The UFC and the MMA media have a vested interest in pretending that Sean O'Malley is a star in hopes that they will build him into a star and basically sway public opinion of the MMA community to believe that he's a star, to then use that to just continue to push him and promote him. And that's all they want, because it's all tied to money. It's all tied to money. And guess what? This same argument can literally be applied to YouTube content creators about MMA as well. 100%. Because guess what? They make money off of it too. They want fighters to be a star. They want fighters to be popular so that they can make videos about them and, you know, make revenue off of that. You know, the more stars in the sport, the better for me. The more interest in fighters, the better for me. But guess what? I don't care. I don't care. I'm just going to tell you the truth. I'm telling you my honest opinions regardless of what anyone else thinks. Because a lot of people they kind of beat around the bush and they kind of skirt the lines of the actual truth. A lot of people know what's actually going on. But I just think a lot of people like to misrepresent what's actually going on to convince you guys of something that isn't true. And it's an insult on your intelligence. So I wanted to discuss it in this video. Or not this video. It should have been a video. I wanted to discuss it in this stream to really break it down for you. I want you to just, if someone makes a statement, regardless of what it's about, it can be anything. Anything in your life, anything in the sports world, you should go out there and seek evidence to support that. And then once you have all those different, you know, points, then you kind of summarize that in your head and you're like, okay, this is probably true. Just like the same people, you know, a lot of people come at me because I say Colby Covington isn't a draw. And they're like, yes, he is. We'll point to the evidence that supports that he's a draw. And that's a little bit of a muddier argument because you do have some certain pay-per-views against Kamaru Usman. But if you look at his most recent pay-per-view against Jorge Masvidal, who's a bigger draw than him, it sold under 400,000 pay-per-view buys. Okay, my definition of a star, a pay-per-view draw in MMA, is not less than 400,000 pay-per-view buys. It's not on par with Aljamain Sterling almost versus Henry Cejudo. So people are just, I don't know. It's just, people misrepresent stuff all the time in the MMA community, and there's no one willing to just say it out loud, the truth of what it is. That's the truth of what it is. Now, with that all being said, and I know I said this early in the video, I'm going to get to some other points here in a minute. But if Sean O'Malley goes out there and knocks out Aljamain Sterling and has this crazy performance, I think it could propel him into stardom. I think it could be his Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo moment. Conor McGregor was very popular, way more of a draw than Sean O'Malley is currently going into that fight. But you can have one big performance, and at a snap of fingers, you can become a massive draw in the sport and slowly build on that fight to fight. Hold on one second. Okay. Anyway, guys, if you have any questions, throw them in the chat. I just wanted to go over that because I put it in the title. I wanted to discuss it in depth. Wade Selleck, I think is how you pronounce it. Thank you for the $1.99 super chat. I appreciate it. Your O'Malley opinion is 100% correct. I mean, I have evidence to support it, okay? I have evidence to support it. For whatever reason, people like to misrepresent that to fans to try to convince them one way or another. Twizzy Rich, thank you for the $4.99. You're kind of right, but UFC made O'Malley a star. But the thing is, I guess my definition of a star and other people's definition of a star is vastly different, because I consider a star in MMA the ability to draw pay-per-view buys. So we don't have any evidence to support that he's drawing pay-per-view buys, because even if he was, he's never headlined an event. So there you go. That's evidence in itself. You think Conor McGregor, even on a 3-fight losing streak, is he? No, he's only in a 2-fight losing streak. Even on a 2-fight losing streak, you think Conor's doing anything but headlining an event? You think Conor, if he loses his next fight, you don't think he's going to headline a card after that? No, he's going to, because guess what? He's a star. He's popular. He drives pay-per-view sales. So until that starts to diminish, he will continue to headline events. But thank you, Twizzy Rich, for the donation, and thank you, Wade, for the donation. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to try to blow through some of these comments. I know there's probably some O'Malley cult-like following people. They're like, O'Malley's a star. He's got tattoos. He's got a 6'9" tattoo on his face. He's such a star. He smokes weed and dyes his hair. Anyway, all right. What is a star? Exactly. Being able to draw pay-per-view sales in the MMA space is what makes you an MMA star. Dana White, #1 power slap went crazy on social tonight. 1 billion views. Exactly. Does billions of views from power slap generate into pay-per-view sales? The answer is no, because you know why? They're not doing pay-per-views. You know why? Because it wouldn't generate any pay-per-view sales. I honestly believe if they tried to sell power slap pay-per-view, I think it would do in the hundreds. 80% of our society can't think critically, 100%. Joey, even Sean O'Malley thinks he's not a star right now. He says he's in the countdown. He says in the countdown, once I beat Alja, I'll be a star. There you go. That proves it right there. And he may very well. This may be the moment. This may be the moment he becomes a star. Sean is a superstar in Venezuela. Yeah, Sean is a superstar in Venezuela for sure. If Sean KOs Aljo, he'll 100% be a star. I wouldn't be that confident, but I think it could be a star-making performance. Heavily disagree that every fighter has the potential to be a star. I mean, I don't know how you could disagree with that. Every fighter does have the potential to be a star. If they're able to continue to win, if they're able to have a certain personality, they have a possibility of becoming a star. Aljo's relationship with Dana kind of reminds me of Tyron Woodley's when he had the title. Maybe a little bit. Not every fighter has a star potential. Someone like Magomed Ankalaev, Bilal Muhammad, Pedro Munoz, etc. will never be stars. Well, that's not necessarily true. Okay, you can look at their overall careers right now and say, oh, well, they're never going to be a star. But guess what? If Colby Covington wins the title against Leon Edwards and then Bilal Muhammad goes out there and starches him out cold and then fights his next 4 fights and starches them out cold and starts talking crazy, talking shit about his opponents on the mic, guaranteed he'd be a massive star. Guarantee 100%. Same thing for all those other guys, you know? It all depends what they do. I understand that if you look at somebody right now, you look at their personality, you look at their skill set, you can make a determination, okay, well, they're most likely never going to be a star. But everyone has the possibility if the right circumstances are put forth. A lot of people thought Khabib Nurmagomedov was never going to be a star. They said, oh, he's a grappler, he's a grinder, he's boring. Look at Khabib. Khabib was one of the biggest stars in the sport. So, Sean specifically asked not to headline fight nights because he didn't want to do 5-rounders, okay? Well, that doesn't really make a sense because you need a belt to be a challenge to headline. Oh, really? Oh, really? Tell that to Jorge Masvidal. Tell that to Nate Diaz. Tell that to Conor McGregor. There's evidence of star power, i.e. some social media presence, but it's insignificant evidence. Exactly. Alger's channel probably gets similar views to O'Malley. I don't know. I haven't looked at it. But maybe. Maybe. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm trying to scroll through this and read only things that matter. O'Malley's not a star, and I'm tired of pretending like he is. Yeah, he's definitely not. There's no evidence to support that he is right now. The UFC may never sell 1 million pay-per-views again. That would cost $85. The only thing that makes me want to buy a card is a fully stacked roster. They will. They'll sell 1 million pay-per-view buys again. You're right. If Sean loses his next 3 fights, he will be forgotten. He could lose his next 2 fights and be forgotten. Yeah, 100%. That's all the UFC does these days, try to manufacture stars instead of giving everyone an equal opportunity to shine and potentially become a star on merit. That's 100%. 100%. The UFC picks and chooses who they're willing to promote. That's it. Did you get a haircut? Yeah, I had to get a haircut in honor of Neal Magny Fight Week. So, Dana White privilege, exactly. I'm not complaining about anything. I'll just channel. Okay, read that. Why would the UFC pick O'Malley to pretend he's a star and because of a clean-cut good dude? You're really that dumb? You don't fight like I swear sometimes you just want to disagree with me because O'Malley's memorable. That's why they see potential in O'Malley that resonates with young males. Okay, that's the UFC's whole base. Okay, why do you think they attach themselves to Nelk boys? Why do you think they attach themselves to social media personalities? You know, and I don't mean to call the question dumb. I don't even feel right now that I said that, but seriously. You think they want to pick out, they're going to pick out this clean. When have they ever wanted to have a clean-cut dude as a star? Clean-cut dude's boring, okay? They think they're boring, okay? They pick out fighters that they think will attract young males, okay? That's the truth of it. That's the truth of the matter. They think O'Malley already has the potential. There's already the potential there. He has a higher probability to transcend the fans, specifically their target demographic, than others. So they pick him out and they push him more than they would push someone else. That's it. That's it. Joey, I think if Sean O'Malley loses this weekend, it could possibly ruin his career. I don't know about ruin his career, and I think he still can become a star. But people are crazy. They just buy the UFC propaganda. Who would you say are stars? Izzy, Volk, Hamzat? Izzy's a star. John Jones is a star. Conor McGregor's a star. I feel like Hamzat is a star, but he's kind of still he kind of really hasn't still had that breakthrough just yet. But I think he's right there. He's right there. You know, he's right there. He has all the makings of it as well. But he's not necessarily there yet. Volk, I hate to say it, Volk's like above average, but he's not to a star yet by any means. Volk's a GOAT for sure, but he's not some massive pay-per-view juggernaut. So, Sean is a star. I saw him on the commercial on Animal Planet. Yeah, exactly. That definitely deems him as a star. It's just weird. I think a lot of the time it's just a misrepresentation on what the definition of a star means. For me, a star means they're drawing significant pay-per-view numbers and a decent portion of non-MMA fans, non-hardcore MMA fans know them. If I went to the grocery store right now and I asked 100 people if they've heard of Sean O'Malley, I'd say less than 10 would say they have. That's not a star to me. That's not a star to me at all. Where if you went there and you said Conor McGregor, probably be 50-50. Maybe a little bit more than 50-50. If you went in there and said Adesanya, maybe 30-40% would know. But Sean O'Malley, I would say less than 10. Maybe even less than 5. Animal Planet is hiring... Animal Planet is hiring Chandler. Goes another year without fighting. Yeah, he needs to go. He needs to go another year without fighting for sure. Bilal's really good at holding guys down. Okay. Call CPS on the hairline. I will. I will. Who the F was Charles 3 years ago? Anyone could be a star. Exactly. Exactly. Now it just jumped all the way to the bottom again. Days, thank you for becoming a member. I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. Now all you can't say I got gifted a membership. Fair enough. GSP was clean cut and a star. There you go. And GSP really didn't have a crazy personality or anything. Didn't have a crazy personality or anything. What's your pay-per-view sale evidence based on? The info is private and undisclosed. Sales are pure speculation, including Jake Paul's. You have some information on that, okay? But either way, the fact that it's not released is an indication in itself, okay? The non-reveal of the information is a reveal in itself. Because guess what? All the top UFC pay-per-views, those numbers have been revealed. We know Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov did like 2.4 million. I'm telling you right now, we have evidence to support the Jake Paul pay-per-views did not do that well, okay? So, but either way, if you want to say, okay, well, you don't have the evidence, okay. So you don't have the evidence. That literally works in my favor. I'm saying you don't have the evidence to support that they are a star, and you're saying, well, you don't have the evidence to support that you aren't. That's like me saying, oh, you're a murderer. You can't prove that you weren't there and kill him, but you can't prove that you were there and killed him. So that means you must be guilty. That's literally what it means. That's a dumb argument. It's a straw man argument. Snoop Dogg screaming O'Malley on TV was just $signs for Dana. Then he started dyeing his hair and got 6ix9ine tattoo. It's a wrap. Laid out the red carpet for him to get a title. There you go. Charles, Izzy, Kamaru, Jones, and Conor are the only stars. I don't know how, but Charles is the most silent star. Charles is a star, I believe. He's not like a huge, massive star, but I believe he is a star. Bro, how's the stream been? Good, good, good. I'm calling the fire department because you've been cooking all stream. Yeah. Appreciate you, man. I got thirsty after that whole rant. Good thing I got 3 waters for me today, boys. I mean, I just don't get that argument from Fight Life. They don't release the numbers. So how could you possibly know whether or not he's a star or not? You're supporting my argument. You're supporting my argument. There's no evidence to support whether or not he's a star or not. I'm waiting for the evidence. When you make a statement, you should present the evidence. It's just not true. But it's fine. People just regurgitate UFC's talking points. Sometimes I don't agree with your takes, but all W takes today. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Some people are going to disagree. That's fine. But it is what it is. And I think if Sean O'Malley does become a star, people say, oh, you don't know what, so you didn't know what you were talking about. No, at this point in time, what I've said is based on facts and legitimate evidence, okay? And breaking down regurgitated arguments over and over and over again. So, but some people aren't going to like that because they want to simp for, hold on one second. Why is this not, okay, there we go. They want to simp for the UFC. Pereira will be a star when he wins the belt. Fair enough. Patty's unironically bigger star than O'Malley. 100% I think Patty probably is more popular. Either way, I don't think he's a star. Fight Life uses the same argument where there's smoke, there's fire. Fair enough. Did you cut your hair in honor of Neal Magny fights this weekend? Yes. I went in, I take a picture into my barber of Neal Magny's hairline. I said, give me this exact haircut. But Days, thank you for becoming a member, my friend. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you. I don't know if I gave you the respect that you deserved. Look, I'm a star now. I'm a star. I'm a star. I got 11,000 subscribers. I'm a star. Sugar got 6 times the amount of followers than Patty, though. Yeah, I mean, that's not an argument I'm willing to die on that hill without looking into it more, but I feel like Patty Pimblett is right up there with Sean, if not surpass Sean. But that could be, okay, the UK bias as well. You know, it feels like the UK fans are really get behind their guys, so it could be that. Could Weidman get the belt? Absolutely not. Never in a million years would Weidman get the belt. I was dead when you said Maven was a bigger star than O'Malley. Is it not true? Based on that argument, listen. If I point to Maven and I say Maven's a bigger star because of his YouTube analytics than O'Malley, okay? You're going to think that's the dumbest argument you ever heard. That's the metric that you pointed to. You pointed to YouTube views. You pointed to YouTube subscribers. That's the metric you're pointing to. I'm using your argument against you, okay? I didn't point to that metric. Other people pointed to that metric. I'm just now using it against you. That's what people do in a debate. So, MMA pay-per-views are more expensive than boxing, so pay-per-view MMA main events drawing more than $500K is huge money plus the live gates. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Joey, I literally watched Maven's new video yesterday, like all in a row. It's crazy how you brought it up. He has great content. He deserves it. There you go. I watched a couple of them too. They ended up in my algorithm, dude. He's doing good. But that doesn't mean he's a pay-per-view draw. I honestly believe Song Yadong could be a bigger star than O'Malley. Yeah, I mean, with the right push, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But it's possible. I think Song Yadong has some potential. But I wouldn't die on that hill right now. I mean, that wouldn't be a statement that I would make right now. But I think he could be a legit star. At the end of the day, it all comes back to winning. You have to continue to win. You cannot be a star in this sport first without a long track record of winning. Which we'll see if Sean O'Malley can keep that up. They're trying to push Patty so bad. Dana is boys with Dave from Barstool, who sponsor Patty. 100%. Imagine Song Yadong headlining a pay-per-view in China. Is Song Yadong Chinese or is he Korean, dude? But either way, I get your point. He'd be big in the Asian market. He is Chinese. You're right. Good call. Yeah, I think it would be big, but I don't know. UFC always talks about going to different countries and stuff. And a lot of times it doesn't pan out. You know how long they've been talking about they're going to go to Russia? You know how long they're going to talk about they've been going to Africa and different countries in Africa and China? They've been to China before. But I feel like it's never going to happen. Yudong was beating Corey until the cut. That's factually incorrect. But okay. I think Zhang Weili is a bigger star than O'Malley personally. I don't know about all that. It depends what version of star you're talking about. If you want to just talk about pure, maybe casual MMA, fans who know him, probably not. But maybe overall number of people in the world that know him, maybe. But I don't know. I'm strictly talking about pay-per-view draws in MMA. Corey was honestly taking Yudong to class after rewatching the fight. I thought Corey was definitely winning. Remember, every 10 seconds, Dana is talking about a PI in Mexico and Puerto Rico. Yeah, exactly. Zhang Weili versus Yan Xiaonan would be the biggest fight for the China card. I'm here for it. I almost don't like it. People keep saying that. I almost don't like it. I think you should do... I think you should do Weili versus somebody else who's not Chinese. Because then you have someone to root against. At least for them, they would have someone to root against. But either way, I like the Weili versus Yan Xiaonan fight. I want to see it bad. Especially after the beating she put on Jessica Andrade. But that hasn't aged that well. Being a pay-per-view star, you still need a good dance partner and a strong main event. Okay. Is Gaethje a star after beating Dustin or on his way to be a star? I think Gaethje's like a mid-tier kind of on his way. But it depends on where's the threshold. Where's the threshold? I wouldn't consider him a massive pay-per-view draw. I don't know what the pay-per-view sales did. I think Dustin Poirier was the more popular fighter in that one in terms of pay-per-view drawing power just because of his wins over Conor. But he's probably on his way. Close. Wade, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. I greatly appreciate you. I greatly appreciate you. I know this is old, but let's all never forget how Dana slapped his wife right before Power Slap release. What a horrible time to slap your wife on video in Mexico, in a club in Mexico at 53 years old. I mean, could there be a worse time to slap your wife in a club in Mexico at 53 years old than a week before the release of your new show called Power Slap? But yeah, never forget, Wade. Never forget. Cut welterweight. Yes. That's not a bad take, Joey. I could see it happening that way, too. I see two Chinese fighters fighting each other brings a nuance that's rare in the UFC. I think it's definitely interesting. I mean, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I like the fight. But thank you, Wade, for the super chat, man. I greatly appreciate it. If you guys could all like the stream while you're at it as well, I would greatly appreciate it. If you guys could all like the stream. Gaethje's more like a consistent draw, like he will always bring in 1 to 200K, but never half a mil. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Gaethje's star power. I'll tell you one thing. I think he's a bigger draw than Sean O'Malley as of right now. Do you have to be a title holder to be a draw? Absolutely not. Or to be a star? No. The only pay-per-view draws in UFC history are Conor, Lesnar, Rousey, GSP, Jones, Silva, and Adesanya, maybe Diaz. Diaz definitely, and Masvidal for a short period of time. I know a guy who made more money on betting Power Slap than any fighter on the show. That's crazy. I forgot you can bet on Power Slap. What an embarrassment. Korean Zombie, a dead corpse. Yes, dude, he's gonna get beat up by Max Holloway badly. He's gonna get beat up by Max Holloway badly. I hate that fight. That's the next card, right? After 292. Let's take a look. Let me take a look. Let me just go to Tapology. UFC's website sucks ass. Fight Center, UFC. Yep. 13 fights. And a bunch of names I'm going to have trouble pronouncing. Rinya Nakamura. Fernie Garcia. Anthony Smith, Ryan Spann, Giga Chikadze, Alex Caceres, the GOAT Parker Porter, Mikhail Oshechek, I think it's how you Oleshek. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Yusaka Kinoshita, Kinan Song versus Rolando Bedoya. So we only got a couple names. It's hard to pronounce. Toshiomi Kazama. I cannot pronounce his name to save my life. Garrett Armfield. Jeez Louise. Sung Woi Choi. 10-6. Ugh. Ew. Why does Dana always say they want to be more international and they continues to do events in the same area every year? I don't know. Just the way he's always been. Am I on an island here that never want to see DP fight Justin again? Yes. I'd like to see it again. Blackshear or Batista? I don't know. I'm still debating on that. I might put it in my video tonight. I might do my research and put it in my video tonight. I'm going to do a video grading UFC 292. I've been meaning to do that video. What's going on? What's up? Okay, read that. Nakamura is nice. Fair enough. Maven could draw O'Malley on a canvas and get more views than O'Malley on socials. There you go. Dana was also punishing himself after slapping his wife. Not external punishment. Yeah. He's like, my punishments, I got to deal with this for the rest of my life. Yeah. Thoughts on Rosas Jr. return? I think he beats the crap out of the guy he's fighting. The guy he's fighting just made a short notice debut and got mauled by Simon. Dana's a slime ball, 100%. Jay Super or Jordan Levitt? Probably Jordan Levitt, but I don't know. Raul Jandaroba, Rosas versus Terrence Mitchell. Ew. Yeah, Terrence Mitchell is going to get dominated, I think. A Dustin Poirier prepared for head kicks can have a very even fight with Gaethje. Yeah, I would like to see it again one day. I'd like to see it. Do you think JDM is a bad matchup for Kevin Holland? No. I think it's a good matchup for both guys, honestly. Chase Hooper versus Jordan Levitt should be a main event. Yeah, Chase Hooper's a star. Have you seen his socials? Have you seen his Instagram followers? Have you seen the amount of merch he's pushing? Dude, these pictures, I'm done. These pictures they got of O'Malley and Aljo. Dude, I swear O'Malley literally looks like a clown. It's funny. They said ready to brawl in Beantown. Is that going to be a brawl? Is it going to be a brawl? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be a brawl. But we shall see. Do you think... Okay, read that. DP has become an old stale. His unwillingness to fight up-and-comers is annoying. Yeah, I agree. 100%. Who's more greedy, Mr. Krabs or Dana? I think they're about even. I think they're about even in greediness. Dana is Mr. Krabs. Dana is Mr. Krabs. I'm picking O'Malley, but he looks so unconfident. Yeah, I don't think he trusts himself to win this fight. I think you're going to see an O'Malley as a version of Justin Gaethje versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Gaethje was terrified. Gaethje was terrified. Go back and watch Khabib versus Gaethje. Gaethje was terrified in that fight, and O'Malley's going to be terrified of Aljo getting a hold of him in this fight. O'Malley could sell 300,000 pay-per-view buys, and they call him a star, but if Bilal did it, he's not a star. It's all bias. 100%. 100%. If Erin beats Talia, do you think she earns a title shot? She should. She should be fighting for a title. I'm heading out, Joey. Gonna try a few hours. Gonna try to get a few hours before I get too sleepy. Have a good stream. Thank you. Gaethje had every right to be terrified. Dude has 0 BJJ. I know, but that's going to be O'Malley. O'Malley's going to be terrified. He's going to be sprinting for his life early. And he's going to be limited in what he can throw because kicks are going to end up landing takedowns for Aljo, I think. Do you think Volk is the GOAT? Yes, he's one of the GOATs. I don't know if he is the GOAT. What's bigger, O'Malley, Vera 2, or Merab? O'Malley run is about to be electric. I think O'Malley Merab is bigger, honestly. I think O'Malley... I mean, O'Malley Vera is good, but Vera's going to be on a one-fight winning streak. A one-fight winning streak? No. Please, no. I can tell they aren't confident with the way Tim Welch has been blowing Sterling in his grappling, saying he's a bantamweight GOAT, make built-in excuses. Doesn't surprise me. I haven't paid attention to anything. O'Malley had 10 months to prep and he's going to get subbed in round 1. Dude, it'd be hilarious. I'm going to cry if I see Aljo's body hit the mat. Dude, Aljo better pull this one off. I would love, for me personally, I would love Aljo just to lay in his guard for 5 rounds and just not let him move. Just dominate him for 5 rounds. Just hold him in his guard. And then the last 10 seconds of the 5th round, just sub him. O'Malley's going to release his inner Chelsea Chandler on Saturday. I agree. 100%. Dude, I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of circling. And I don't know if he can throw kicks because I think Aljo will catch those kicks and take him down. O'Malley throws really good kicks, but Aljo does a really good job of catching kicks and taking you down off those kicks. Do you think Izzy can surprise us and wrestle and sub Sean Strickland? No. I don't think he's wrestling Sean. I don't think he's subbing Sean. I hope Aljo is swinging his head on all 4s and O'Malley just punts him. It's a win-win. Yeah, DQ for Sean. A DQ win for Aljo. Dude, I'm not going to lie. If I was fighting Aljo and he's down on all 4s just doing this little number, I'm kicking him right in the face. Soccer kicking him right in the face. That shit's embarrassing. I hate that he does that. That shit's so embarrassing. As soon as O'Malley states, no matter what happens Saturday night, I know it's all over for him. Okay? Easy layup for Aljo. He literally can't lose unless some Jorge Masvidal, Ben Askren type of thing. Dude, I would love if Aljo just gets him down the first 10 seconds. Aljo has some sloppy entries, though, which makes me nervous. Aljo can leave with a DQ win. They would... Look, I'm telling you right now, if O'Malley lost via DQ, they would immediately give O'Malley a vacant title fight as Aljo goes up. Pedro will make Chito have 1 foot out of the UFC, and Yadong will get him kicked out. We'll see. We'll see. Guys, do me a favor. Double check and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. But yeah, we'll see. Are people picking Pedro? Are people picking Pedro over Chito? I think Chito gets it done. I think he's younger. I think he's more versatile. I think he has an unbelievable chin, unbelievable cardio, and a great kicking game. I mean, dude's throwing sweet chin music mid-fight. The only brawl they'll be in is TD Garden public restroom. Is Conor showing up? O'Malley said if he loses, he is still number one contender. He says he loses, he is in a win-win. He really said that? Did he really? It wouldn't shock me if they give him a vacant title fight. Imagine O'Malley loses and Vera wins and they book O'Malley Vera 2 for the vacant belt if Aljo goes up. That'd be hilarious. I got Munoz by decision. Fair enough. Fair enough. Joey, what happens if Ngannou KOs Fury in the first round? I wonder where the goalposts go then. Everyone who's been shitting on Ngannou for now, what, 8 months, they better shove them goalposts right up their ass. They better stick them goalposts right up their ass. I wouldn't be surprised if Sean gets away with some glove and fence grabs. Oh, he's definitely going to be cheating. O'Malley lost to Cheeto. He was losing to Pedro. He lost to Jan. He beat absolutely nobody worth their salt. This is the most undeserved title shot of all time. I wouldn't go that far because I don't think we can necessarily dictate title shots off of disagreeing with judges' decisions. That's a slippery slope. Will the press conference be good with Cheeto and Sean? No. I think people are going to think the press conference is going to be good and it's going to absolutely shit the bed. It's going to be horrible. There's going to be a lot of like talking over each other. Ngannou not knocking out Fury? I don't think he is. O'Malley can't even talk. I know was it you that sent the clip earlier and it was like he sounded horrible on the mic. He was like just saying the dumbest shit. That's the thing. People think Sean O'Malley's like some master on the mic. The best thing about Sean O'Malley is the way he fights. He's got a very exciting fight style. A very aesthetically pleasing fight style. But it's against literally scrubs most of the time. What Volk needs to do to become the greatest fighter ever? Beat Topuria, move up, and take out Islam for the lightweight title and defend it once. Is Ian Garry the Irish Darren Till? No, Ian Garry's better than Darren Till, I think. But he could be. Similar. If Aljo beats Sugar, imagine how big Volk versus Aljo would be. I don't think it'd be that big, to be honest. Pause. I don't think it would be that big, to be honest. Pause. If Sean survives the first 2 rounds, might be a good fight. Early Aljo sub will be boring. Dude, I think if Sean survives the first 2 rounds, he's just going to be getting grappled to death. Ian Garry's becoming one of my favorites. Fair enough. I couldn't get it in me to pick the guy who goes on all fours for another grown man to win an MMA fight. You picked O'Malley, huh? He might get completely fraud checked like Till. I don't think he will, but it's possible. Poirier's probably hoping Oliveira beats Islam so he can get his Gaethje trilogy. I mean, who knows? Who knows? I wouldn't mind the trilogy, but what are we going to do? The BMF title on the line again? I don't want to see that shit. I remember when Dana used to diss Kimbo for fighting scrubs, yet O'Malley does that. Yeah. I mean, they babied him for a long while. I understand why. So, all sports have professional ranking systems. The UFC should have one instead of a few biased assholes sitting there deciding who wins. Rugby has a world ranking system as well as cricket. Rankings or deciding decisions? Which one are you talking about there? Dana slowly turning into Scott Coker? What do you mean by that? Dude, Cannoli's thinking about Aljo that is just beyond belief. Does a fighter need to hold a title to be a star? No, absolutely not. Thoughts on Bo Nickel versus a chimpanzee? I have no thoughts on that. Don't care at all. Weirdest question. I can see O'Malley becoming like a discount Masvidal where he never wins a belt but gets exciting finishes. I'm telling you right now, if O'Malley gets ragdolled by Aljo, what they're going to do is they're going to give him a layup fight for his next fight, and then they'll put him in a title fight after that, no matter who else is deserving. I remember Gaethje versus Khabib. He wasn't breathing through his ears in the first round. Who was? What do you mean? Who was breathing? Ilya versus Aljo. Merab going to be in a tough spot. Oh, that would be funny. Could you imagine? I don't think they're giving Aljo a featherweight title shot. I don't think they're going to give him an opportunity to become double champ. Joe, you made me realize the UFC level of entry has severely went down. How the hell did Chris Monteanu get in the UFC? They needed a punching bag for Sean O'Malley. They needed a punching bag for Sean O'Malley. That's the only reason Chris Monteanu got in the UFC. Wouldn't be surprised if O'Malley fought someone like Rob Font if he loses to Aljo. 100%. 100% that's who he's going to fight, Rob Font. Mark my words, O'Malley versus Rob Font if O'Malley loses to Aljo. What is up, Patty Mills? I hope you are doing well. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Did you see Chandler even coming out now, by the way, guys? And he said, I'm not holding my breath on the December fight. I don't even know if this guy's training. He's just too busy out on the boat with his boys. Lounging on the boat with his boys. If Sean wins, what route will he have to take for you to believe he deserves his credit where it's due as a contender and champion? I mean, if he beats Aljo, fair enough to him, he deserves credit. That's it. He doesn't need to do anything more. I think they'll allow Aljo to move up on the condition that he immediately vacates. Yeah, they're not going to give him an opportunity to become double champ. Hey, Joey, 603 tuning in. Let's all hit the like button. Yeah, if you guys could all like the stream and subscribe to the channel, double check and make sure you're subscribed, I would appreciate it. We're going to be live on Friday for a pre-fight live stream, and we'll be live on Saturday for the fights. So if you care to join me on Saturday, we'll watch the fights. I will be here live. Strickland said there's a lot of punching bags in the UFC they use to build their stars. 100%. If it happens, Brady versus Renat. I don't think Brady versus Renat's going to happen. I'd pick Renat. Arman Sarukian versus Beneil, 294. I'm going Sarukian. I think Beneil's overrated. Beneil's slow. Beneil's old. Beneil's was injury-ridden. I think Sarukian wins. It'd be an interesting fight, though. I think just Sarukian's... His kicks on the feet would be a step. I think it would be too much for Beneil. Beneil moves like he's in slow-mo. He moves like he's in slow motion. I noticed that before the Oliveira fight. I sort of want to see Chandler versus Dober. That'd be a fun fight. I have no real desire to see that. No man who goes on all fours should hold two belts at the same time per sources. I agree. Dude, I hate that. I hate the way he does that. I don't think he'll be doing it that much against O'Malley because he's going to get the body lock. He's going to take O'Malley down. I got Beneil by unanimous decision. Not going to lie. I feel like he could honestly outstrike Sarukian and stop the grappling. I feel like Sarukian would outstrike him. I think Beneil could stop the grappling, but I think Sarukian would outstrike him. But that's an interesting matchup. I think it could go either way. How many defenses would Sterling have if he didn't move up? Who would be his worst matchup? I think Song Yadong would be his worst matchup, to be quite honest. But I think also Merab would be a bad matchup. I think Petr Yan could still beat Sterling. 100%. I think Petr Yan could beat Sterling. Like, if you book Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling right now, I'd pick Petr Yan. As crazy as that sounds. You see JDM, Holland is in the works for the Grasso card. Yes, we talked about it in the beginning of the stream. I favor Holland slightly. I have a feeling Aljo would want to test his striking against O'Malley in the first. I hope not. Just get the body lock, drag him to the ground, submit him like you did Corey Sandhagen. Joe, do you believe Dricus would have gassed out in the third round against Whitaker if he went that far? Probably not. But maybe a bit, but not that much. Imagine Oliveira beats Islam. They will boo him bad in Abu Dhabi. Oh, well, doesn't matter. He's got the belt. They can boo all they want. That's what I would think. They can boo all they want. I got the lightweight title. If Charles Oliveira gets that lightweight title wrapped around him, ooh, that would be beautiful. That'd be absolutely beautiful. What's Grasso's path to victory? Just outboxer. Outboxer to a decision. Did you see Adesanya said Hamzat might steal DDP's title shot? I did not see him say that, but does not surprise me. 100% Hamzat may steal the title shot. I believe he will steal the title shot. Joey, at what point did Beneil decay? Even Gamrot looked real? I mean, I don't know about decay. I think he's always kind of been like this. He's never been like the elite of the elite. I mean, he's the elite of the elite, but it's just he's never been particularly fast and particularly excellent anywhere. He's just super well-rounded. So, Islam will beat him again. Charles' excuse will be that wasn't me again. Now, Beneil hasn't decayed. Charles is just better than him. Yeah, I think a lot of people overrated Beneil Dariush significantly. I made a video about it in the immediate aftermath of that fight. In the immediate aftermath of that fight. So, Let me go to something. Yeah, I made a video immediately after that. If you guys haven't watched my full card predictions, go watch my full card predictions. If you haven't watched the UFC desperately wants Aljamain Sterling to lose to Sean O'Malley, go watch that. I did a full breakdown on Sterling versus O'Malley. Reasons I love 292, reasons I hate 292, all out on the channel. If you guys would go check them out after this stream, preferably. I would greatly, 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 greatly appreciate it. Looks like the Aljo video has about 4,000 views, which is good. Full card predictions. You got a lot of view time. Who do you want on UFC 300? I don't know, dude. It's too far away. Do you think you get an update on Connor Chandler at 292? Probably not. My early prediction for Dariush, glad I changed my Charles pick. Glad I changed the Charles by TKO. Did I convince you? Did I convince you? That's what I need to know. But yeah, good, smart decision choosing Charles by TKO. If Covington loses another championship fight, then I never want to see that clown fight for a title again. I mean, he's going to have to earn it if he does, but at this age, I don't think he ever will earn another title shot. I'm excited for the co-main. It's actually an elite fight. I'm super excited for the co-main. I think it's super underrated. I think some people also get confused about their favorite fighters. Just because you have a favorite fighter doesn't mean they're stars. Agreed. Joe, who do you think is the best English fighter? I think it's either Tom Aspinall or Arnold Allen. I say Tom Aspinall. I'll say Arnold Allen. I don't know, though. I don't know. I can't remember every English fighter there is. Joe, I really like your Who Should Be Cut videos. I know it's not like the fighters are necessarily getting cut after every card, but they're really fun. Yeah, some of them are, though. Some of them are. But I'm glad. I mean, that's a popular video that I do now. Yeah, yes and no. I went back and watched the Gamrot fight and noticed how slow and labored Neal striking is. I talked about that a lot in the lead up to the Charles Oliveira fight. I noticed that. I went back and watched it. I'm like, damn, dude looks slow as hell. Dude looks genuinely slow as hell. So. But that's the thing. I remember him looking great in that fight. But you go back, and you watch it not in the moment, and you come to different realizations. How do you feel about Michael Bisping saying Tom Aspinall would destroy John Jones? That's an absolute joke. I wish Aljo would keep the belt if he wins so Sean couldn't get a rematch and Dana would be so mad. I know. I think they might book O'Malley in a vacant title fight even if he loses to Aljo. But Neal might have faster hands than Brandon Moreno. Absolutely not. That is annoying. I didn't think about that. Joe, do you think Max Holloway best Evloev right now? Probably. Probably. Which Sean is more likely to win their title shot? Probably O'Malley. I don't think either one of them is super likely. But if I had to pick one, if you told me one definitely wins, I would say O'Malley wins. Did you see Gary saying who the F stays up for Sean O'Malley? They're staying up for me. And it's like 16K views versus an interview. Or Sean's interview doing 75K. I have not seen that. I have not seen that. But Gary thinks he's bigger draw than he is too. But maybe he's just talking about UK, I guess. Joey, listen to people. Listen, people like KO's more than decision. That makes Sean 10 times more interesting than most fighters. Fair enough. He's KO and bumps. He's KO and nothing but bumps. Literally doesn't have a KO over against a single fighter on the UFC roster currently. DJ couldn't sell tickets if you had a gun to his head. Okay. Ian way too cocky. If he loses Neal, it would be so embarrassing. Yeah, if he keeps talking like this and he loses, he's going to be really embarrassing. But if he keeps talking like this and he wins, people are going to eat it up. I'm not going to eat it up. I don't like it at all. But I picked Weidman by decision. I'm a believer. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. Yeah, exactly. I saw that. Gary's getting way over his head. He needs to stay humble. Ian Garry has a star power. Thinks he has star power just because he's Irish. I know. He does. And he doesn't. He doesn't have the... He thinks that, but he does not. He's not a star either. Okay, fair point. Would you rather watch O'Malley fight or a Cejudo fight? I mean, it depends who they're fighting. It all depends. Individual matchups matter. Ian got nothing but yes men around him. You can tell. 100%. What was your final prediction for Jeff Neal versus Ian Garry? I don't know. I might have picked Ian Garry decision. Hard fought, close fight. Dana gonna introduce the marijuana Lambo belt for Sean's clown. Yeah, they're gonna have a belt with a spinner on it for Sean O'Malley. So. If Neal Magny somehow wins, I'll laugh my ass off. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Let's say they're both fighting random bum. Who would you rather watch? Neither one of them. I have no interest in non-competitive fights. The spinners on cars was a wild time. I remember those. People used to think those were cool. Spinners on the rims of cars. Garry version shoot box. What are you getting at there? Imagine Garry loses to Magny, dude. That's going to be the hardest fall from grace ever. That's going to be the hardest fall from grace ever. If Ian Garry gets starched by Neal Magny, dude, that's something he can never recover from. If he gets grinded out by Neal Magny, I never want to hear Ian Garry say a single word again. Imagine Magny gets a lucky spinning kick on Garry, just spinning back kick to the liver, and just folds Garry where he quits from his body just shuts off from a body shot. That would be insanity. Honestly, cut Ian if he loses to Magny in his hairline. Dude, and also, Magny out there bragging about beating his kids, and now you're going to lose to him after you called him out on that? That's an embarrassment. Joey, how many Americans would know if Henry Cejudo won a gold medal if he never talked about it every 3 seconds? Nobody. I bet even more people know about Kurt Angle winning it than Henry with a broken neck. Yeah, nobody would know. Do people? I think only old people watch the Olympics nowadays. Chandler probably wishes he was on Connor's yacht checking out the luscious V, 100%. He wished he was like laying in that pose. There's a picture of Connor. Garry could never go back to Ireland after losing to Neal Magny. Dude, I think his family would disown him. You'd lose to Neal Magny in his hairline. So, yeah. Someone told me Ian Garry is a simp because he took his wife's ex-husband's last name, therefore I can't root for him. I don't even know if that's true, dude. I don't even know if that's true. And who cares what he does? That doesn't mean anything. What name he has. I don't even know if that's true. I know he took his wife's name, but I don't know if it's her wife ex-husband's name. Are you in your mom or grandma's basement? I'm actually in your mother's basement right now. I just got done with her upstairs. I decided to head downstairs and do a stream real quick. But she's upstairs waiting for round 2 from me. Something about Garry I really dislike. I know you don't watch interviews, but check out his most recent one. He's annoying. I can't watch him, dude. It's just unbearable for me to watch any of those guys talk. I just don't enjoy it. I used to watch a lot of them back in the day, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Are my comments going through? Yeah, maybe I just missed it. My favorite fighters are Roundtree, Oliveira, Yuri. No recency bias at all. Will these fighters be remembered in 50 years? No, they will not, unfortunately. Derek's mom waiting for the championship rounds. Yeah, she's waiting for that Khabib Nurmagomedov style ground and pound. You have a bow tie under your chin, making fun of Magny's hairlines. Laugh. Well, I intentionally trim it up like that. I'm eventually going to make a shirt like that. That's the point of it. It's supposed to look like a tuxedo. Look, this is the tuxedo. This is the bow tie, dude. You haven't been watching the channel long enough. Blaze, what's going on? What's going on, my friend? You at least watch the Octagon interviews, right? Yeah, of course. When I'm watching live. Magny's hairline lighting up in the TD Garden. Sean O'Malley out at 293 tours. I don't know what that means, but he's not fighting at 293. Yuri versus Alex. I believe that will be December. UFC 296. UFC 296. Dawkins versus retirement. Who wins? Retirement. Dude, his brain's got to be mushed by now. Now, Olives is remembered in 50 years. Maybe Olives. What's your prediction for Batista Blackshear? I don't know. It'll probably be in a video tonight. I'm leaning Batista right now. It'll probably be in my video tonight where I break down the main card and grade it. Like I normally do 2 weeks out, but I never had a chance because his card was falling apart. Reyes versus Gustafsson. Who would win? Oh, my God. Probably Gustafsson. Reyes' chin is gone. Dawkins versus Hap Chandler. Oh, never mind. You're responding to him. Okay. I was like, what does that even mean? Prediction, who will have the best swag fit at the... Dude, don't even ask me a dumb question like that. Dawkins versus Reyes to determine worst chin at 205. Yeah, book it. That's the fight to make. Good night, pleasure man. Good night. Dawkins getting sent to police witness protection in Florida with a new name and a new haircut. Dude, if I'm a criminal and Chris Dawkins is patrolling my area, jeez Louise. He tries to arrest me, I'm just plucking him on the chin, dude. He slept bad. When Islam beats Oliveira twice, he'll become the Holloway of the lightweight division. That's super unfortunate, dude. But you're right. You're right. The no man's land of the former champ who loses twice to the current champ. Who would you generally pick in Dawkins versus Reyes? I'd probably go Dawkins. They ought to book that. Loser retires. They ought to book that. I'd go Dawkins. I think Reyes is completely done. Dawkins brothers versus the Hardy brothers. Hardy brothers for sure. Reyes got a title shot off beating a walking zombie of Chris Weidman in Boston. I forgot that was in Boston. That was a main event too. That was a main event too. I remember I think it was a right cross that just slapped Weidman bad. Dropped him, finished him off a ground and pound. I think Pavlovich is really unstoppable. We'll see. We'll find out soon enough. We may get Pavlovich versus Aspinall vacant belt. Roundtree versus Azamat. Who wins? Probably Azamat, but I'm not 100% confident in that. I'm not 100% confident in that. Joe, if I came to you right after the Jones-Reyes fight and told you Reyes is one loss away from possible retirement now, how would you have reacted? Wouldn't have shocked me. There's a John Jones curse. Everyone that loses to John Jones just goes on an absolute fall. Falls off a cliff. You fight John Jones and you're just never the same again, no matter how the fight goes. I mean, look at Thiago Silva. Thiago Santos. Look at Gustafsson. Never the same again. A lot of these guys are just never the same again for whatever reason. I'm 100% confident I would knock out Dawkins if I was a criminal, which is hilarious. Yeah, that's fucked up. You were a great reviewer. I was just picking on you for the bow tie. Much love. You can say what you want. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me. One bit. Does Aljo have a good chin? He takes a clean shot from O'Malley. I think he has a decent chin. We haven't really seen it tested all that much. He's been KO'd. He's been KO'd by Marlon Moraes, I think, only. Do you expect the opposite to happen if they beat John Jones? They just become unstoppable. Yes. Ian Garry ceiling, top 10. Neal Magny wins via stadium lights shining off the dome of his into Ian's eyes. Imagine he wins with his hairline somehow. Your favorite UFC brothers? For me, it's the Basharat. I don't know. Name all the UFC brothers. I'll say the Bonfim brothers. I like Gabriel Bonfim. Dawkins needs new management. Who the hell thought it would be a good idea for him to fight Roundtree? I know. Thoughts on Dawkins looking for a 9 to 5? I feel really bad for him, to be honest. I feel really bad for him. I know we joke about it, but I don't feel right about it. I got Oliveira winning the rematch. Call me crazy. I'm confident in my pick. We'll see. I mean, DC survived the curse like Anthony Reyes, but like Anthony Smith, Reyes, Gustafsson, Chael, Santos, Oz. But yeah, 100% DC's the only one to survive the curse, I guess. But technically only has the one loss. Look at Anthony Smith, guys. He lost to Jones and becomes delusional. He recently stated that he lost to Jones because he zigged when he should have tagged. No, he did not. He did not say that. If he said that, dude, that's crazy. Wasn't Dawkins like one fight away from a title fight when he fought Lewis? I don't know about one fight away, but he was kind of getting up there in the heavyweight ranks if he would have won that fight. It's honestly sad he went for his dreams and failed. I know. I feel bad for him. I don't even enjoy making fun of it. Because it really is sad. Imagine getting KO'd brutally 4 times in a row. Imagine not winning a fight in 3 years, 4 years, whatever it's been now. It's super depressing. It's super depressing. Man, I don't know what he does from here. He's going to have to find a different job. Maybe one more fight. But I don't even want to see that. Who could Charles beat up in the top 5 at 170? He goes up after getting subbed again in the second. Dude, I don't think he has any success at welterweight. I think he loses to everyone in the top 5. Maybe beats Gilbert Burns. Sorry. Hooper versus Levitt is such a perfect matchup. Yeah, I agree. I slightly favor Levitt. Lewis versus Jairzinho, sign me up. I got Jairzinho. But it could go either way. I got Jairzinho versus Lewis. I knew Dawkins was in trouble. As soon as I saw him fight versus Shamil, he just stays in range. Yeah, he's super easily hit. The fact that Anthony Smith said Chris Weidman kicked his ass just shows the skill level. Dude's been inactive for 2 years with a broken leg and still manages to beat Anthony. He really said that recently? Breaking news tab lately has me like, yeah. We're gonna work on that. We're gonna work on that, boys. Only posting legit news to the breaking news tab. I'm gonna start deleting it when it's nonsense. You can hire Dawkins to build your hot tub. You can buy hot tubs. They're made. They're already made. They're pre-manufactured. Joe, he said that in the Believe You Me podcast while they were interviewing Tom Aspinall. Tom was even in shock while hearing Smith say that. So he said on the podcast, Weidman whooped my ass in training. That's embarrassing. But he could just be hyping up his guy, I guess. Chase Hooper's a bad dude. I think Lewis versus Jairzinho might main event one of the October Fight Night cards. Yeah, I think that's going to be a main event of a Fight Night card for sure. I don't know when. I would hate to fight someone again that I dominate so easily sucks for instant rematches because anything can happen and Islam will lose all credibility if Charles gets a fluke win. Yeah, but it's just the name of the game. It's the name of the game. Do you think Weidman took PEDs to recover? He never left the USADA testing pool, so I'm going to say no. I'm going to say absolutely not. I think Chris can beat Tavares. I hope he does. When does Cruz Figgy happen? I think September, October. Maybe like a September Fight Night main event that's not announced yet that we don't know. Chris Weidman was good a while back. Yeah, way while back. Weidman better not... Dude, don't even say that. Don't even wish that into the ether. Please no more Jairzinho main events. I think they're definitely doing Lewis Jairzinho main event, I think. 100%. Cruz KOs Figgy. I don't know, man. Cruz is getting up there in age and he's slowing down. Will the UFC ban calf kicks if he snaps his leg on the first one? No. They would never ban calf kicks. Chimaev versus Adesanya will happen next if Chimaev wins. 100%. Last time Weidman was good, I was in 5th grade. That's crazy. Weidman hasn't been good. I mean, he was good in the Yo Romero fight. So when was that? 2016? It's been 7 years since he was good. Imagine that, man. Imagine you dedicate your entire life to something and now it's been 7 years since you've been decent at it. It's crazy that Weidman's 39. Yeah, I remember Weidman taking a short notice fight against, I think it was Damian Maia. I think it was Damian Maia or Mark Munoz. Chris Weidman. No, it was Mark Munoz. Notice Mark Munoz, I believe. I think it was short notice for Mark Munoz. And that was now 11 years ago. So he was 28 years old. At that point, he was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He was 5-0 in the UFC when he beat Mark Munoz. 9-0 overall. And now he's lost, 6 out of his last 8. Weidman versus Rockhold, worst stoppage. Dude, that stoppage was horrific. What was Herb Dean thinking? If you haven't seen Rockhold versus Weidman, that is one of the worst championship stoppages in history. Weidman's taken a lot of damage. He's been knocked out a lot. How short is Chandler? Connor made him look like a kid in their face-off. I don't even know. No joke on the podcast. He said he zigged when he should have zagged against Jones. He claimed to be faster than Jones in the fight, but he got dominated for 5 rounds. How does he zig when he should have zagged? He zigged when he should have zagged. That doesn't make any sense to me. That's crazy. What about Weidman versus Souza? Shit stoppage again. I don't remember the stoppage. I remember it was a weird KO, though. Souza caught him on like the top of the forehead, and Weidman went down like stiff. I don't remember the exact stoppage. I'll have to go back and rewatch that. Herb Dean has made some questionable calls. That he has. That he has. Damn, it's crazy to think. There's a lot of fans who've never even seen Rockhold versus Weidman. The stoppage was horrific. The stoppage was absolutely horrific. One of the worst stoppages I've ever seen in my entire life. He should have zagged into the crowd and out of the stadium and just zigging into the octagon on his walkout. That's what he meant. Yeah, he should have just pulled out of the fight. The UFC will definitely tell Aljo to be active on the ground because we know Aljo prioritizes control over damage. After 15 seconds of inactivity, they'll stand him up. Imagine they just start standing Aljo up in the backpack position. He's got the body triangle from the back and they're standing him up. That was when Luke was a beast. Yeah, I was confident in that going into that fight, Luke Rockhold would win. Sean is a star, but not a superstar. He's not a star in MMA right now, though. He's not selling pay-per-views. We'll find out this weekend, I guess. I love that old jump knee he landed on Chris. Dude, the follow-up shots. There's a picture of Chris like on his hand, like curled up in a ball after the KO. It was nasty, guys. Do you think Cannonier fights Brendan Allen? I'll say no. But Brendan Allen's an idiot for turning down a main event against a guy who's ranked above him in Roman Dolidze. Do you think Bisping would beat Rockhold in their second fight before it happened? You're never going to believe this, but yes. I've told this story on the channel multiple times. One of the only bets I've ever placed in MMA before it recently got legal to bet on an app. I bet Michael Bisping by KO over Luke Rockhold in the second fight. And I was confident in Bisping KOing Luke Rockhold in the second fight. And so much so that betting was not legal here. But one of my buddies, I forgot exactly how it does. I have a picture of the betting slip somewhere. One of my buddies like knew someone that was like out of state or something. I don't know. I don't remember the whole story. And we had him place a bet for us. But then my buddy, who's not as big of an MMA fan, said, let's parlay it with Uriah Faber beating Dominic Cruz. And it was this massive payout. And I even hit up one of my other buddies who was an MMA fan, and he got in on it too. So we all like put in like $100. It was like $300. We bet on Bisping by KO, Uriah Faber to beat Dominic Cruz. We did a parlay. And I was pissed because I didn't want to do the parlay. And unfortunately, I didn't make any money because of the parlay. But 100%, I thought Luke Rockhold, my analysis going into that fight, I said Luke Rockhold, way too cocky, way too confident. Bisping is always training. Bisping is always ready. And Luke Rockhold has a suspicious chin. So, I know it sounds almost unbelievable. I picked Bisping to beat Rockhold in the rematch by KO when Bisping wasn't KOing anyone. 100%. And I have to dig out like old memory cards. I have a picture of the betting slip somewhere. So, I'd have to find it. I don't know if I can find it, though. I got so many old I got thousands of pictures. So, I picked Rockhold to beat Weidman as well. I picked Rockhold to finish Weidman. I thought his jiu-jitsu and top game was way better than Weidman's. I can't remember what I picked him by. It was by finish, but I think I might have picked him by sub on the ground. I swear probably 80% of the people into the UFC when Conor fought Floyd missed so many great fights. That is true. That is true. I picked Stipe against Francis in the first fight, and I picked Francis against Stipe in the second fight. So I picked Stipe in the first one, I picked Francis in the second one. Joey sounded like Chatri right now. I know, dude. I hate even talking about it because it's like, it almost sounds unbelievable. I know I wouldn't believe it, so I know half of you guys probably don't believe it. But yeah, 100%. I also picked Nate Diaz and was confident in Nate Diaz to beat Conor McGregor in the short notice. The only pick that was really, really good that I had that I don't take credit for at all, I picked Holly Holm to beat Ronda Rousey. But it was almost one of those hipster picks. Like, I didn't really truly believe it. And so I don't ever take credit for that one because I didn't really actually believe it in my heart. I just kind of, Holm's going to beat her. Holm's going to beat her. She's got the kickboxing to beat her. So I don't take credit for that one because I didn't truly believe it. But I did pick Holm. So that's a crazy one. But 100% I believe Bisping was going to win and I believe Nate Diaz was going to win. Nate Diaz was going to win. And my buddy who was doing gambling, like had a buddy out of state. I don't remember how exactly he was doing it. He even bet. I told him, look, dude, I'm so confident. I'm like 90% confident that Nate Diaz finishes Conor McGregor. He's a horrible stylistic matchup for McGregor. And I forgot how much he bet on it, but he won a couple grand on Nate Diaz beating Conor. Overeem clearly fell to tap. Only the OGs remember that. Guys, if you are an OG UFC fan, bring up some type of like inside UFC joke over the last few years that only the OGs will remember. Like Overeem fell to tap. People will remember that. What was your worst prediction? Masvidal over Colby is one of the worst ones that I can remember. How long have you been watching MMA? 2010. 2010. Imagine how the one who bet on Anderson Silva against Chael Sonnen felt. Imagine you bet like $100,000 on Anderson Silva to beat Chael in the first fight. You're like, oh, this is easy money. Anderson's the GOAT. And then he just gets dominated for 4.5 rounds. Oh, my God. You probably turned it off. Remember when Rustam beat Jorge and he had so much potential in the UFC? Vaguely, I feel like. Chris Weidman's dad. Did you guys like my discussion of Chris Weidman's dad in one of my recent videos? That's still my boy. Tito F and Dana for their scheduled boxing fight in-house. Remember? Nope. Wasn't a fan then. What was the general consensus about Rockhold Bisping 2? That Rockhold was going to starch him badly. Duck and pause. My bad. There you go. Chael basically destroyed Anderson for 4.5 rounds, and then he got choked out. And he even tried a little fake tap. He tried his little fake tap. I'm coming for your ass. Aljo 2020. Pause. He even made shirts. You know he made shirts on that, right? He made shirts on that. I'll have to pull that up. Aljo... I'm coming. Shirt. Pause. Yeah. There it is. I think you can still buy it. Let me take a look. I almost bought one of these shirts. I thought it was kind of funny. No, it doesn't. It's not here anymore. I don't see it. Must have been a limited time. Must have been a limited time. He said, I'm coming for that. And they put a peach with a necklace on it. And then said, ... pause. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I thought that was pretty funny. I remember that post-fight interview. UFC looked too rugged and ugly with Dude-Wipe sponsors for me back when I watched it. Yeah. Chael literally used the excuse of not knowing the tap-in meant Silva fight. I know. I remember that. He was just lying. Never forget what Chael did to Jones' toe. Oh, my goodness. That's funny. Why did Gastelum Whitaker fight get canceled and Izzy Silva was main event? Plus, why did Silva fight Izzy when Izzy was ranked number 6 and Silva was number 11? I don't remember. I think Whitaker pulled out of the Gastelum fight. And Izzy versus Silva was just Izzy's moment to make him a star. That was basically they were trying to make Izzy a star by beating. That looks pretty sick. That looks pretty sick, bro. I wonder if you're in here, Jackson. That looks pretty sick. Let's see. 138-ish. Dude, that looks sick. Dude, that's crazy you can even do that. All right. Whitaker absolutely schooled Gastelum. I'm here, Joey, just in the industry, what we would refer to as an underpainting. Dude, that's sick. I have my phone like propped up on a charger here, just in case something interesting comes through, or like, you know, I don't really pay too close attention to it. I seen your name and I seen photo. I'm like, let me check this out. Dude, that looks sick. I can't wait to see how it turns out, to be quite honest. It's going to be awesome, dude. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you. But I did not know what was that called. I would call it a drawing. But I don't know anything. I'm uncultured. How embarrassing will it be for O'Malley if Aljo finishes him like he finished Dillashaw? Oh my God. That would be hilarious. That'd be hilarious. I remember people throwing shade on Habib saying Weidman would be called a GOAT if he retired after 3 defenses. Doesn't surprise me. Hey, quick question. If you have an answer, how many times has Cody pulled out of his total canceled bouts? Quite a few. Quite a few. I don't remember how many, though. I don't remember exactly how many. Who'd you pick, Till or Masvidal? I picked Masvidal, and I also picked Pettis the week before or week after. So, I was on a hot streak. I was on a heater in picks in that point in time. I was on a heater of picks. I got to look at this pick again. I wish I could imagine it more, bro. I'm just imagining all the vibrant colors. Dude, that looks huge, too. How big is that, Jackson? You can message. Just message in the chat. How big is that? Pause. It looks massive, dude. Who'd you pick for the Kelvin Till fight? Kelvin. I picked Kelvin. Still pissed Cody didn't end up fighting Ronnie Yaya. That literally could have tailor-made matchup for Cody. Exactly. I know. And they booked it like 3 times. I picked against CM Punk in both fights. Imagine Sugar submits Aljo. Imagine he guillotines Aljo. What's your prediction for O'Malley versus Aljo? I'm taking Aljo. I think Aljo either finishes him via TKO or submission first 2 rounds. I'm convinced Juliana Miller's striking coach is her grandma. Dude, her grandma strikes better than that. I think Wilder has the hardest punch ever. Fair enough. Sean's little waist is going to pass the round like Ariel's email this weekend. Okay. Wilder has the craziest touch of death. I don't really watch boxing, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I hope Cheeto loses and O'Malley has to choose Sandhagen or Marab if he wins. I just hope Aljo beats him in like 30 seconds. That would be the most optimal scenario. That would be the most optimal scenario, in my opinion. What's been the most excited you've been for a UFC event? Anderson Silva, Chael Sonnen 2. Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen 2. Dude, that's huge pause. That's huge pause. Massive pause. Joey, hear me out. Grasso Valentina finishes on Saturday night. Finish on Saturday night. Sean throws spinning kick. Aljo jumps on the back. I don't think Sean's going to throw a lot of spinning techniques. Yeah, but the most excited I've ever been, UFC 148. That's the most excited I've ever been for a card. Chael threw a negative IQ spinning back fist. Dude's an idiot. It's so funny. Sean had a year to prepare, and they made Aljo have a quick turnaround, trying to give O'Malley every advantage. I know I made an entire video on it. Check it out. It's on the channel. It's on my UFC 292 playlist. I remember Joe Rogan thought the knee that Anderson threw was illegal. Shout out to Chael, though. One thing he didn't do is make excuses after fights. The fight needs to happen. What? Anderson Silva got called out by Chael Sonnen and he stopped pretending that he can't speak English. Okay. Book Rob versus Chimaev after 294 while Izzy's held up with his Sean rematch after getting subbed by Sean and then fighting DDP. Nah, dude, I think if Chimaev wins, I think Chimaev's next. O'Malley has 0 takedown defense. How come nobody knows that? Aljo's just going to sit on him, right? I hope he doesn't just sit on him. Have you hit any full card parlays? I think it was 12 or 13 fights. Whatever card Ketlin Vieira versus Raquel Pennington was, I had Ketlin Vieira. I would have hit, I forgot how much, but for thousands of dollars. And Ketlin Vieira gets robbed on the card. Also, Chael would actually fight these clowns like Colby never. Exactly. You do have to respect Chael for that. Do you remember your reaction to the correction draw between Woodley versus Thompson for the championship? Yes. Yes, I do. I do. A lot of people just turned it off right after that, didn't realize it. But I think, I mean, damn, I knew immediately as soon as he read the scorecards. I'm like, no, that's a draw. That's a draw. That's a draw. It's a split draw. A split draw is super rare. Split draw is super rare. Imagine having 3 judges, all 3 of them render different scorecards. I think that's what happened in that fight, if I'm not mistaken. Woodley versus Thompson, 1 scorecards. Oh, no, 2 judges had it a draw. 48-47. But they read it wrong. I feel like if 2 judges have it a draw and 1 judge has it for 1 fighter, I think you just give it to the 1 fighter. That's a majority draw then. Okay, a split draw is where you have one judge has it a draw, the other 2 judges score it for opposite fighters. What? I think so. One of the 3 judges scores the contest in favor of 1 fighter. Another just scores it in favor of the other fighter. Third, yep, okay, split draw. I thought it was a split draw, but it was a majority draw. If Sean has a sub on Aljo, we're going to see Boston Screwjob WWE style. Imagine Sean O'Malley Boston Crabs Aljamain Sterling. All the Ian Garry shit talking is setting himself up for a Paddy Pimblett fall. Even if he wins the fight, he just needs a bad performance to lose all hype. I agree. But he gets a good performance, and you never know. Matt, thank you for the 4 months of membership. Read my comments, good sir. Am I missing them? I don't see it. Oh, here it is. I see one message. Bro, around my first time watching UFC, by the way, you don't bully me, Matt, but I'm going to do it because I'm a nice guy. Bro, around my first time watching UFC, I watched Face Off for 1 fight. Dobson versus Agapova. And I remember saying this chick, Dobson, finishes her. I didn't see odds on the fight until fight day. She was plus 1,000 and she won. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Also, when we had Goldie calling fights, he always made sure he wanted to be there. Even Joe now be checked out. Yeah, I agree. Breaking news: Chris Dawkins' chin just filed for to stop. Joe, who do you think Jan? Do you think Jan won all 3? Jan clearly won all 3 rounds, in my opinion. John Jones is fighting washed up Stipe, 1 eye and 58 years old. My lord, scum is going to retire undefeated. He's not undefeated. Did you think Conor won the rematch versus Nate? I thought Nate won, but it was close. I even rewatched it like a year ago, and I still scored it for Nate. I don't remember what scorecards I had. Do you watch Cage Warriors? Not. Why not? I don't have enough time. No. Cage Warrior prospects always get overhyped, too. I felt bad for Dawkins as well. Who'd you pick in Diaz Conor 2? I picked Diaz again. I picked Diaz in the first fight. I picked Diaz in the second fight as well. I'll never forget picking Cannonier and getting flamed for it online. Still in awe that so many thought Vettori would win. My early prediction was Cannonier, but then I switched. I don't know if it's been mentioned yet, but Blackshear vs. Batista is a great last-minute scrap. I agree. I'm actually going to break it down in my grading video that I'm finally going to do tonight and probably release it either late tonight or just wait till tomorrow. Worst pick of all time? Probably Masvidal over Colby. I thought I was smart. And I just messed up. I watched fight tape and I switched my pick. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. So it is what it is. It is what it is. You ever watch a fight like 5 times and finally score at the other guy the 5th time? No. I don't think I've ever, like, right at all the same times watched a fight that many times. Did he say, yeah, Florida's great? Okay. My worst pick lately is El Kukui, but I will continue doing it. You picked him? Damn, that's crazy. Axel Fox, thank you for the $7.99 Australian. I made $85 betting against Hardwick on Dana White's Contender Series. These Cage Warriors champs always be praying for my Whopper, paying for my Whoppers and donos. Dude, I'm telling you, the Cage Warriors champs and Cage Warrior prospects in general are massively overhyped. Every single time. I've been talking about it for a long time. I picked Alex in the Izzy rematch. That's not a bad pick, I don't think. But thank you for the $7.99 Australian Axel Fox, making the 85 betting against Hardwick. I barely know who Hardwick is, and people were just hyping him up like crazy. But good bet, my friend. Congratulations. I'm glad it could pay for this dono, and I'm glad it's paying for your Whoppers as well. Do you think having 5 judges instead of 3 would fix a large portion of robberies? I think it would help a decent amount, but not. At the end of the day, incompetent judging is incompetent judging, but I think you could lower it by a decent percentage of bad decisions having more judges. But if you still have the same bad judges, you're still going to get bad decisions. But I would like to see 5 judges implement it. I would love to see. Yasmin Lucindo about to whoop Elise Reed's ass. Was that booked? Were you excited for Aldo McGregor? 100% excited for Aldo McGregor. I thought Aldo was going to whoop McGregor bad. I'm telling you, bro, the UK dudes be killing it and promoting you think they're car salesmen. Yeah, and also the UFC gets behind them because they want to build that UK market. 5-1 favorite and Hardwick closing his eyes like a girl at her first day of karate. I didn't even watch it. I don't care about Dana White's. I just don't have time to watch every Dana White's Contender Series ever. I know you guys can call me a casual, whatever. Just don't have time for it. Yeah, Lucindo stepping in on short notice on the Noche Day UFC card. Oh, damn. Lucindo going to whoop her bad. Wasn't Chael willing to take a week notice against Jones when no one else would? And Jones backed out. Jones didn't back out. Jones just said, I'm not fighting him on short notice. Of course, Chael's willing to get a free paycheck. Perfect example. Look at that Duncan dude who just shit the bed. Is that Christian Leroy Duncan? Is that who we're talking about? But yeah, he did shit the bed if that's who you're talking about. Joe, what's the most shocking moment you've ever witnessed watching a UFC fight? Probably Anderson Silva's submission. That's what turned me into a hardcore MMA fan for life. Seeing that finish in the 5th round of a fight that he was getting dominated in turned me into a lifelong fan. I wouldn't have the channel if I didn't watch that fight. Probably wouldn't even be watching the sport as dedicated as I am today. So probably that. The Anderson Silva KO against Weidman made my jaw literally drop. Ray Justice, thank you for the $2 super chat. Do you like Jones? Define like Jones. I like watching Jones fight, but as a person, he seems like a scumbag. Also, predictions for Saturday. Aljo, first round rear naked choke. Whaley, I believe I have her second round TKO, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, second round TKO. Ian Machado, Gary, decision. Vera, decision. Tavares, unfortunately, brutal KO. And they're all the notable fights. Thank you for the $2 donation. I do not think Jones is a good person, but I love watching Jones fight. I'm kind of new to MMA and just want to know all the straight facts. Watch the channel, man. Everyone's welcome here. JDM versus Big Mouth got me hyped. I think it's a fun matchup. Imagine living with the weight of winning the whole fight and with seconds left, you lose. Dude, I'm telling you right now that H. Chael sounded alive at night. Have you ever picked against John Jones? Yes, I have. But not in a long time. Let me go look at his career real quick. I think maybe the last time I picked against him was Lyoto Machida. Maybe. Let me go take a look. Yep. I picked Lyoto Machida. I picked him against Rashad. I picked him against Vitor. I picked him against Chael. Picked him against Gus. Picked him against No, I picked Glover. Glover's the last time I picked against him, and I have never picked against him since. Picked him against Daniel Cormier. Picked him against OSP. Picked him against Cormier. Picked him against Gustafsson. Picked him against Anthony Smith. Picked him against Thiago Santos. Picked him against Dominic Reyes. And against massive opposition on the channel, I picked him against Cyril Gahn. He rises to the occasion. I ate so much shit for picking John Jones against Cyril Gahn. So many people were telling me I was dumb. I was an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. Whoo, it was so satisfying to see John Jones get that win. If you were here for the Friday stream before UFC 285, raise your hand right now. If you were here for the pre-fight stream for UFC 285, the Friday, raise your hand in chat right now. Raise your hand in chat. When I started watching UFC, my favorite fighters were Chael Sonnen, Gustafsson, Rashad, Jones. Crazy how good light heavyweight was back then. Yeah, I mean, it was solid. I mean, I still don't think it's bad now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I wonder how... Dude, so many people were saying, you're an idiot. You're biased. Jones is going to get demolished at heavyweight. Blah, blah, blah. He couldn't wrestle Dominic Reyes. He's not going to be able to wrestle. Should Anthony Smith have done what Aljo did? What do you mean? Oh, no, he should not have. I was there. You were getting so much shit. I know. Getting told I was biased. What's the first knockout that comes to your mind? Edson Barboza, Terry Edom. Let's go. John Jones is a bad person, but the best fighter. There you go. Was saying Cyril would beat John. John vs. Gone was one of the first weeks where I was a subscriber to the channel. I'm glad you got to witness that legendary pick right there. I was just taking a beating. I had my back against the fence, and they were ripping body shots. They were ripping body shots, and then, boom, I pumped the jab, overhand right, brutally KO'd him, landed a left on the way down, and then on the way down, I threw a nasty hammer fist as they hit the ground, and then I just shot arrows into their dead, lifeless corpse. I was giving you shit for Oliveira Dariush. I got a lot of shit for the best picks of the year for me. And let me know what you guys think. What were the best picks of the year you guys think for me? My best picks of the year was Jones, Adesanya by brutal KO, and Charles Oliveira by finish. So those were my best picks of the year. Luckily, I had my back against the fence. I was eating all types of shots. And then boom, boom. They had Joey on all fours, but he came back and won. Exactly. They were trying to melt me. They didn't know I was playing possum. Joe, why do you think Chael Sonnen has gotten so insufferably stupid after his career? I think he's a rich, poor guy. The Izzy pick was right on the money. Izzy pick was legendary. I may never be able to beat that pick. I literally said Pereira's going to be overconfident because he had 2 knockout finishes over Adesanya. He's going to get overconfident. He's going to try to finish Izzy early, and Izzy's going to brutally KO him and to counter him and brutally KO him. Stiff. I said brutally KO him stiff. And I got so many comments. You're a fucking idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Adesanya's not going to KO Pereira. Oh, yeah. Oh, geez. That was so satisfying. That was the most satisfying finish ever just because of that. And I made a video. I even made a video. One of my favorite videos on the channel. Let me go take a look at my channel real quick. Videos. Search. Adesanya. There's 2 of my favorite videos that are on the channel. And one of them is... if I can find it. Why is Israel Adesanya being counted out against Alex Pereira? And I did the exact same video. Why is Charles Oliveira being counted out against Beneil Dariush? 2 of my favorite videos. Ironically, I watched it yesterday. What did you watch? But you also got shit for saying Whitaker had to slip on a banana peel to lose to Dricus. No, I didn't. Not beforehand. Afterwards. Not before. Not before. Joe, your picks were epic for all 3 of those. I was hoping the other fighter would win. Dariush, Gant, and Pereira. So I was salty, but good job. Thank you. I think Adesanya caught Pereira in a counter. He was not playing possum. I mean, either way, it doesn't matter. The end result's the same. Adesanya was such a slick KO. I know. It's going to be enshrined on the channel very soon. Very soon. Joey, a theme of yours is that you pick against overconfident fighters, and I'm going to take that into account for my picks now. Yeah, but I don't really... that's not really where I come from. That's not how I decide my picks. You know, I make my pick, and then I'm like, wait a second. Why is everyone confident this way? How different would the outcome have been if Cyril had accepted Khabib's invitation? I don't know, dude. Chael can talk for 1 hour and it's all bullshit. He talks in circles. A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. I'll only make those why is X fighter being massively overlooked going into whatever event. I'll only make it for picks I truly believe in. I'm 2 for 2 so far. I'm 2 for 2. So I didn't feel like Jones was being massively overlooked going into that fight. I felt it was like 50-50. Let me go look at Tap real quick. Let me go look at Tapology right quick. Let me go take a look. What was it for 285? I would say, if I had to guess, I'd say it's like 60-40 for Jones. Maybe. Johnny Bones Jones. UFC 285 main event. Boom. 62% were picking Jones. Chael, this guy will win because let me tell you about the best cheeseburger I've ever had. Sounds about right. Joe, would you ever do YouTube Shorts? Maybe. Joey switched to the dark side. I don't know what you mean by that. John Jones versus Israel Adesanya. John Jones would absolutely maul him. Joey, if you had to guess Conor's next few fights and how he retires, how do you think his career plays out? I'm going to say he fights Chandler in 2023. UFC 300. Gets brutally KO'd and never fights again. Unless it's YouTube boxing. It'll be like freak show boxing. Nah, Jones was a big favorite of Ergan. Some fans were bashing Jones off that Reyes performance. Yeah. So that's why I never made that video. I feel like the vast majority of the MMA community was picking Pereira. And I felt the vast majority of the community was picking Dariush as well. Is there a dark theme for Tapology? I wish there was. I wish there was. Jones would break Izzy's arms. Joey, I have a video idea. Joey's top 10 picks at 2023. Someone else has to do that. Somebody else has to make that. Joey, I'll need another New Balances by the time Chandler fights Conor. Yeah. Got to get them New Balances on. Got to get them New Balances on. Got to green them up. You know, once you get a pair of New Balances, you got to go out there and green them up and cutting grass with them. Bro, the Dariush pick didn't make any sense. What do you mean? Joe, your reaction to Adesanya KO was solid. You turned into an internet sensation. What do you mean I turned into an internet sensation? Where was this at? People have told me this. I didn't see this. I know it got a lot of views on my channel, but I didn't see this internet sensation people are talking about. Let me go back to that live. UFC 287. I bet you there's a massive spike in the analytics for that one. Analytics. Dude, there's such a big spike. There's such a big spike. That's wild. People rewatch that over and over and over again. My graph for my retention time for the live stream is like this. It's massive. But I was so shocked because my prediction was dead on. I was just mind blown. Like, it was exactly how I thought it would play out. My mind couldn't even process it. I couldn't even process it. Brian Ortega's trash. Dude, he's ranking squatter. Much love, Joey. Haven't been able to pop in the streams lately, you know, but you the GOAT. Thank you, Will. I appreciate you, man. Joey screams so loud. Oh my God, he's dead. I don't even remember what I said half the time, but I do remember that. Joey, I just hopped in. How's the stream going? Good. Did you see the picture of Conor McGregor on the exercise bike, Derek? I tagged you in it. I tagged you in it on Discord, you clown. You never responded. What's a good underdog you picked this year? Why didn't you pick DDP or Grasso? I don't know. I don't know the odds of fights, so someone also have to fill me in who I picked an underdog. Chandler Wood lost to Conor. His chan is on a plate. Maybe. We'll see. Vicente Luque should fight the winner of Rodriguez versus Ponzinibbio. He should. He's not ready to fight the rankings. I am with you. Moreno is so overrated. You think? I don't think he's that overrated. I thought he beat Pantoja, to be honest. I want to see Tim Means versus Barberina. Ugh. Just pick my trip. Just book my trip for Vegas for Grasso Valentina 2. The best fight was just cancel Fluffy versus Curtis. Yeah, but they booked Kabila versus Fluffy now. Not a bad. Can anyone link to that video of Adesanya's KO's reaction? Can anyone link to that video with Adesanya KO reaction with Joey? Well, you want to see my reaction? I can link the live stream and tell you the timestamp. If you want that. I don't know videos with me in it. Here's the video of my live stream, and I'll tell you the timestamp for it. The timestamp is... I think it's in the comments. Let me look in the comments. It's not. The timestamp is... let me make sure of this. I believe it's 5:41. Timestamp is like 5:41. You'll see a clock up on the screen. There's an MMA Clips channel with all the reaction to the big fights in 2023. Yeah, there is. I don't know if the Adesanya one's on there. Joey, I just checked your comments on the Adesanya prediction. You were getting a bunch of heat. I know, dude. I got so much shit. I mean, luckily I don't care, but it's just made it that much better. My stream cut out when I came back. Alex was on the floor. That's hilarious. That is hilarious, bro. I saw a video compilation. Fair enough, fair enough. Moreno will never beat Pantoja. He's just better. Well, I thought he beat him in the last fight. Some dude said Alex would KO him, and someone else replied, what happened after the fight? And dude wrote a whole novel about why him saying that was creating unnecessary drama. I haven't even looked at the comments afterwards, to be honest. If Costa beats... that's the worst spelling of Chimaev I've ever seen in my entire life. Guys, do me a favor. We only have 51 likes on the stream. We got 112 people in here right now. Do me a favor, like the stream. It helps the channel. If you're watching this on replay, like the stream as well. And also double check and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I do these streams all the time. And I definitely go live every single Wednesday. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. I think Moreno can beat Pantoja. Honestly, I'm just a Pantoja fan. Fair enough. Haha, bro, I didn't get the notification. That's hilarious. Can we get the MMA Joey branded briefs? Sure. Sure. You look like Boudet with hair. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's do Barberina versus Adesanya. Yeah, Barberina's up at middleweight now. Also, if you're in the members Discord, Tapology competition tab. Derek, I'm looking at you. Derek, I'm looking at you. Okay? Will, I'm looking at you. I was so hyped when Izzy KO'd Alex. The celebration is legendary. The celebration is legendary. The celebration is so legendary, boys. Pantoja dissed his dad after winning the belt. What a cold fella. That is true. Just watch the reaction. Epic. Yeah, I always find that shit kind of cringy, like watching myself after the fact. So, like, I've seen it, but it's like, ugh. So are we doing the completion? What are you talking about? Who'd you pick in Mike Breeden versus Jesse Butler matchup? I probably would have picked Mike Breeden. The same guy who made the unnecessary comment never made another comment on your channel after Alex got KO'd. Yeah, dude, but guarantee he would have been back. He'd have been back. If Alex Pereira would have got the KO, he would have been back. Imagine Izzy subbing DDP. That'd be crazy. Imagine he just guillotines him. I think Izzy KOs him badly. Makes him look really bad. Nah, it was authentic reaction. We got to see a real fan, not like some forced fake shit. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not going to ever... People say, oh, these react... Sometimes I got people saying, oh, these reactions are boring. It's like, I'm just reacting honestly. I'm not going to try to drum up fake reactions for you. Izzy beats Alex 8 out of 10 times. I'm with you. Where's Johnny Hendricks? Dead corpse. Dead corpse. I would agree, but I don't know anymore after the Whitaker fight. Fair enough. I honestly think Sterling O'Malley might be a snooze fest. Sterling wins no matter what. There's level to this, and we'll see Saturday. I agree. O'Malley's going to have to get a crazy KO to win. Crazy KO. I can't wait for the day Izzy subs someone. That'd be crazy. To be fair, I think there's always a chance Strick is KOing Whitaker just due to the power he has. Yeah, you're right. You're right. 100%. Most shocking upset of 2023 has to be DDP. Has to be DDP. But let me go find something. I'm going to find a video for you guys. This is one of my favorite videos I've ever done. And I almost didn't do this. I recorded it on Easter. And I got almost 18,000 views for it. Which is craziness. Which is absolute craziness. And I'm going to send it to you guys in a second. And my prediction, a clip of my prediction is in this video. So I want you guys to go check out this video when we end the stream. If you haven't seen it. Let me go look at something. It's got 669 likes. That's crazy. That's craziness. And almost 18,000 views. Calico MMA is live. I wish him the best success on his channel, my friend. Thanks for letting me know. Was Hill not beating Glover? Not a surprise, even though I picked Hill. Not many did. I picked Hill, but I think a lot of people were picking Glover. Comeback of the year, Harris versus Wells or Guram versus Brenner. I don't know. Good night, everyone. Good job, Joey. How excited were you for Nunes Spencer? Not excited at all. I think Adesanya is way more defensively responsible in the feet than Whitaker. Whitaker was just rushing in and not setting up any of his strikes. Yeah, I agree. Who's ready for a Chris Weidman title run? Not me. Not me at all. Listen, guys, do me a favor. Like this stream. Subscribe to this channel. I got to go work on a video before I go to sleep. But do me a favor. Check out this old video from the channel from back in April. I have a clip in the very first, 4 minutes of the video, first 3 minutes of the video, of my prediction for UFC 287, which was legendary. So go watch it, go like it, and make sure to comment on it. Maybe it'll boost it back in the algorithm. But go watch it. Do me a favor. It has a clip of my prediction. It has like a 1 minute clip in the very beginning of my prediction for 287, which was absolutely legendary. But guys, I'm getting out of here. I have to go record my grading UFC 292 video, which I'll be doing as soon as we end this stream. I'm already ready to go on it. I already got my editing, all my pictures ready to go. So I am getting out of here. Goodbye. Good night. Thank you for joining me for the weekly live chat, and I will see you guys bare minimum on Friday. I'll be live on Friday night for the pre-fight stream. Good night, and appreciate every single one of you. Go to the link in the chat. Good night.